Yo, what is good? Everybody that's tuned into the Basement Ballers podcast live stream for today. We're about to get started right here, just waiting for a couple of you guys to join the stream. And then we got our chat bot going, which is good. Shout out to you guys though. It is August 20th, 2023. And we're gonna do our classic Premier League roundup plus talk about La Liga a little bit, talk about MLS obviously for a little bit, and then that should do it for to this week's podcast. There is one game that we're not gonna be able to obviously talk about today, which is Arsenal versus Palace. That will be tomorrow. And then yeah, one sec, Brian. Nobody can hear you. One sec. Let me just switch over to the podcast thingy. Okay, we are now seeing Brahim. All right, Brahim, go ahead. Fox. We always also talk about that. So you want because that was the first. That was really early today. We can talk about that right now. Um, hmm, really?
For sure. But like, this isn't even Spain's strongest team.
Yeah.
Well, like, yeah, there was that. It's cool to see them win. Now, I think the fifth nation to win the World Cup in women. So let's see, because the first one was in 1991. Since then, the U.S. have won it. I believe they've won it two or three times. Norway has won it. Spain.
Mhm.
I'm forgetting the two other countries, but that's all I know. I know that five teams have won it, and Spain are among them. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool for Spanish football. You saw what happened after with the federation president. You saw what he did.
Oh yeah, the he kissed one of the players.
That's fucking
It
weird.
was so weird, and I was like, I thought like it was the picture was way too grainy for it to be fake.
Yeah,
Like
no, it's also non-consent. Like she came out and said, like, yeah, I didn't like that shit. Like she came out.
because like thing is, bro, it's like um because like even with the men's right, like all they do is like max give the brother a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek, kiss on the forehead, maybe a handshake, you know, but to give a
Yeah,
full ass lip
yeah,
kiss.
lip to lip contact. You might as well grope a ass while you're
And like
doing
you were an old ass man. Like you don't even look like you could be her man. You know what I mean? Like,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's some weird ass shit. I don't know. But oh, one second. Okay, so the stream was just saying that they couldn't hear you for the first little bit. Can you guys hear him now?
Y'all hear me?
Just give it one sec, Brahim.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, no, you're chilling. All right, so okay, so they didn't hear the first little bit. So just to summarize, we were talking about the Women's World Cup. Spain beats England 1-0 this morning at 6 a.m. EST. That was when the game was. Obviously, the English fans are in a bit of shambles because those brothers slash sisters
Yeah,
cannot catch a break.
that nation is just the epitome of like you almost made it, but you didn't.
Yeah, if I that's actually so true. Who won the Euros?
Italy, and as England was in the final,
No, no, who won the women's Euros?
women's I don't fucking know. Women's Euros.
I'm pretty sure one second.
No,
Let
I'll
me
look it up. I'll look. Women's Euro.
Euro
It
2022.
was England. Oh,
Yeah, okay, so that's why. Okay, so that's why I was like, I was just trying to remember because like a lot of the stuff on Twitter and things like that, we're talking about how like, oh, this was the like European championship winning squad, and I mean that was recently, like that was like literally about a year ago,
yeah.
and stuff like that. So they were coming on strong. Obviously, there was a lot of hype behind Lauren James, who gets red carded back in what the quarterfinals.
No, not was it the quarter? It was when they played Nigeria. When did they play
They
Nigeria? I think
play
no, I
when
think
they
that was the round. And I think that might have been the round of
Round
16.
of 16. I remember she missed out 2 games. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Lauren James, I think, came on as a sub today. I'm not sure because the game was at 6 a.m. Like I didn't watch the whole game.
yeah, no, facts.
I watched like 20 minutes. I can't lie because it was
Yeah,
6 a.m.
it's a little early, but yeah, no. She was kind of like she was on a bit of a like really strong rise throughout the entire tournament. I think the red card kind of derailed her a little bit to even to such a level that like in the final she gets brought off the bench.
Hmm.
And I mean the game just ends 1-0. So like shout out to Spain. That was their first ever Women's World Cup victory. Bringing pride back to Spain. You know, something that they haven't felt since maybe 2012. Like nationally, I mean, not obviously. I'm sure those brothers are proud of themselves. But
Hmm.
and they also had I don't know if you care about this, but like with I think it was Wimbledon, like the tennis tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy who won it was from Spain. So a lot of things to
Oh
be
yeah.
proud of as a
The
Spanish
12-year
international.
old.
Yeah,
He
wasn't
beat
it Alcaraz or something? His name was, I think it was Alcaraz.
Yeah. He beat Djokovic. Yeah, yeah. I saw
You
that.
know what I'm saying? So, a lot of things to be proud of as a Spanish international, but that's the Women's World Cup. Unfortunately, a lot of us here in Canada, like because like women's soccer in Canada is a lot. Maybe okay, maybe not a lot now, considering like the men did make the males World
It's
Cup,
popular. Women's soccer is
but
popular.
women's soccer is very popular in Canada. I know that, and it was obviously a very big disappointment. But despite that, I think that it was very hard as a Canadian to watch these games. And then imagine the brothers living on the West Coast. You know, like forget. I mean, actually, no, maybe yeah, anyway, it was a bit of a mixed bag. Hard to watch some of these games. Hopefully, the next one we can catch more games. But moving on, we're going to go on to our Premier League roundup, which is everyone's favorite segment. And we're going to talk about basically just in order, starting off with the game on Friday, which was Sheffield versus Forest.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did watch the first like I watched like 30 minutes of that. I saw the first what's that? I saw the first goal. It was in like the second or third
Mm-hmm.
minute.
Yeah, no, exactly. Real quick. And then,
First goal at the end. It was a 89th minute winner by Chris Wood. The one and only.
yep,
We love we love us some
100%. Like Sheffield, I don't feel like Sheffield looked that bad. Like,
No, I told you, prediction is that them and Luton are going back down for sure. I mean, I think my prediction was Sheffield, Forest, and Luton are going down. Like Sheffield and Luton, I'm convinced.
yeah,
Like,
but the thing is, bro, like Everton's been looking so bad. Like, oh my
yeah, yeah. Well, we'll touch on that later.
Fox.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's move on. So that was that result, 2-1 for in favor of Forest. They get their 3 points. Sheffield United have now lost two in a row. Liverpool. Now they move on to the next game of the weekend, which was Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Now this is obviously something that I watched in great detail. Brahim, you also watched it,
Yeah.
but it's a game that starts off very familiar to us Liverpool fans, where we concede pretty early, which is
Yep.
pretty annoying because like obviously like our biggest gripe was our DM position, our sixth position, and our defense. So we concede very early off at like pretty much a defensive mistake, and then Allison was looking pretty shaky in that first like little bit of the game. But everything like about 20 minutes into the game, we were looking like a championship level team.
Yep.
And then but like about 20 minutes in, we started like really like
Yeah,
clicking,
Bournemouth
connecting.
were on your ass low key for like a bit at the beginning of the game. They were on your ass.
No, and they were really pressing high on us, right? Because I think they figured that like what's it called? I think they figured that we were like kind of that's where our vulnerabilities were,
Hmm.
um, and so they really capitalized on it. But like I mean, fair play
Yeah.
to them.
Listen, man. I mean, you guys ended up winning. I mean, there was two things of note to talk about, and it has to do with both your new signings. That's it. So Sabazlai, that was a dive. Like you have to admit that was a
No,
dive.
well, I think
It was,
depends on the angle you look at it, bro. To be honest, because
I'm
like
sorry.
from the like if you're looking at it from the crowd behind the guys sitting behind the net, you could see his foot go like across Sabazlai's
No,
body, and
no,
so
don't get me
obviously
wrong.
he's gonna fall. He's gonna fall over because it's like, you know, who
Listen,
wouldn't?
don't get me wrong. There was contact. Like it is. Look, it's a penalty in the sense that like, listen, there is a bit of contact where
Hmm.
yes, you can't sell it to be a penalty. Which like, I'm not saying it's not a penalty. Like, it was
Yeah,
because there is slight contact. But like, nah, he embellished the fuck out of it though.
100%.
He barely got. That's not saying it's a dive. Like it is a penalty, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like he embellished the reaction like a lot.
Hundred
And there was
percent.
that, and then there's the McAllister red, which that's never a red card.
That's never a red card. To be honest, I would even like maybe yellow, like, but even like
Oh
if he
yeah,
gave a yellow, I'd be like, okay, like I get it. It was a late challenge, whatever, right? But there was definitely no like intent behind it, kind
mm,
of thing. There was no
yeah.
like it wasn't very aggressive challenge, right? So I don't know. I think that if Liverpool do their due diligence and go and like kind of like take this up with like whoever
FA.
the FA, they're going, what's it called, they might actually reconsider banning McAllister from the Newcastle game, because that's what it's looking at right now. So basically
That's
our next game against Newcastle, like he's not
for
gonna be able
him.
to play, but yeah.
Well, I have a question. Is Thiago available? Is he fit or is he injured
So
or what?
he wasn't available for yesterday's game, but he
Uh-huh.
was in full training. So I'm assuming maybe by next game that he could come out as a sub. But
We'll move on to that later because I have something to talk about later when we get to other results. It has to do with the Liverpool thing, but
Fox. But anyway, so then he gets a red. But we at the time he got the red, we were up 2-1. We got Salah, who missed the penalty, and then he scored off the rebound. Now that still poses the question, like Salah's status as a
yeah,
penalty taker.
nah, B. He's missed a few
He's
pens.
missed a few.
Like
He,
last year against Arsenal specifically, he missed the pen against Arsenal last year.
Last year I think he missed two in a row. I remember, or
He's
something like
few pen. Like for me, your penalty taker should be the
McAllister
one
probably.
the one I've always been like I'd say convinced by. Like whenever he takes a penalty, what's that like in shootouts and shit. I mean, I'd say probably just take your best shooter, Trent. I say Trent should be the penalty taker.
Trent's good, but also we have Mac now, McAllister. So and McAllister's a good pen taker.
McAllister, Trent, like what but not Salah because like even is the way he takes his penalties. What I've noticed is that he runs up to it like really fast,
Mm,
at a point where like like oftentimes whenever you see Salah miss penalties, it's because he drags the shot wide.
yeah.
That's what I've noticed, and that's due in fact to, like in my opinion because he runs up to it so fast that
Hmm.
like ends up dragging wide because he maybe puts a bit too much power considering like how fast he's running. Then it drags wide. Like for me, you need someone who takes a more like a calmer approach to
Hundred
penalties.
percent, 100%.
McAllister, I don't know. The only penalty I've seen him take was so last season in like the 100th minute against
Against
Man
United,
United.
yeah, 100%. Well, he was Brighton's penalty taker.
Yeah.
So and also Sabazlai. Sabazlai is also took penalties for what's her face, Leipzig. So yeah. Anyway, it's definitely something that needs to be considered. Obviously, Mo Salah has to be like
I don't
willing.
know.
Um, Anyway, so that it is what it is. But we get to go up two, then we get the red card. But then like thankfully Jota has this ability to like relieve the pressure off Liverpool, and so he puts us up 3-1, and then we were kind of just chilling. Now the one thing to notice is, yeah, obviously Szoboszlai had an incredible game. Like honestly, like he's only 22, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Uh,
Buzzline, yeah, he's no, no. I told you he looks good. He
Yeah,
looks good.
fresh. And then Endo comes on, and he really does a good job slowing down the game, which is important. Like because the last thing we would have wanted was for Bournemouth to like kind of get momentum and like really push while we had 10 men. So it's good. Anyway, Liverpool win 3-1. That's a good game to get after drawing to Chelsea last week. We're moving on to Fulham versus Brentford. Not sure if you watched this game. I
I
only
watched.
watched the highlights.
Listen, I watched the last like what 20 minutes. Like they scored a goal at like the 95th or 6th minute, like something. Like Brentford scored a very late goal. I saw that.
Hmm.
But when I logged on, like when I watched it, it was already 2-0. And the thing is, like I'm surprised because I mean I remember I did make my prediction. Like I'm pretty sure we made a TikTok about it. My prediction was Brentford were gonna finish like ninth or 10th.
Hmm.
But even in my head, I was like, well, I don't know because they are missing their best player, Ivan Toney, for the first up till January because of like the whole gambling thing.
Hmm.
So in my head, I was like, I don't know. Like I didn't see them getting relegated. That's for sure. But I didn't think they'd actually like. I mean, it's only the second game of the season, but so far they've beaten Fulham 3-0 away, and they've drawn with Spurs.
Fox.
So like
No,
they're looking
that's
good.
true, man. They're looking good, and like
They finished 10th. Like they're not a shit team. Like Fulham aren't bad.
Fox.
Plus they won their first game. I'm pretty sure.
Uh, yeah,
It's Everton. Yeah, 1-0. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean anyone can beat them, but
yeah.
it was
No, it's true. It's true. And I think at the end of the day, that like with in terms of Brentford, they're finding ways to like for other people to contribute to like goal scoring. You have Mbeumo who scored two for them against Fulham.
Mm.
Um, like and Fulham as well. Like yeah, obviously like the 3-0 was a very surprising result for them, but I think
Mm.
that um like even just the first goal that Brentford scored, which was off a really bad mistake from Diop.
Mm.
Um, it's like at that point, it's like it's hard to kind of come back from that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
it is
didn't
what
think
it
so.
is. Yeah.
Me, one surprise result I'll tell you, was Brighton beating Wolves 4-1. Like we can
Yeah.
talk about that. Only reason why is because well, Brighton beating Wolves doesn't surprise me because Brighton are better than Wolves. Is the fact they slapped them because keep in mind Wolves. I mean, I would pretty much most people will agree should have at least had a point against Man United last week,
Hmm.
if not a win. Like Man United didn't deserve to win that game. They deserved at max like a draw. You feel
Yeah.
me? So from Wolves going to do that, plus that was at like Old Trafford, that wasn't at Wolves' stadium. So for them to go play the home game of the season and then get slapped up like that 4-1, like I was surprised. I can't lie. Like
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd lose that badly. Like I thought they'd probably lose, just not that much.
Facts.
It was pretty bad. Like I'd say, I remember I hopped on to it was halftime because what happened is that halftime it was 1-0. Matoma scored. And then that's when I started tuning into the game 'cause it was 1-0. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this could be interesting. And then the span of like I think 10 minutes or something, Brighton scored three goals.
Yeah. Facts.
In 10 minutes, like Estupian scored and Solly March scored two, and then Wolves got a consolation like in the 60 like some like this what was the 61st minute, yeah. So I don't know, like I was surprised. It was very like they just hit him hard in the span of 10 minutes, three goals.
Yeah.
It was
No.
awesome.
And I think like last year, obviously, like Matoma kind of came out of I don't want to say nowhere, but like he really put on a showing last year. But I think with what he's been doing so far in the season, it's obviously still early and everything. But I think even with like his insane run to score the first goal, like
Mm.
he needs to be putting into conversations of like some of the best wingers in the Prem right now. You know, like
Maybe, but I was surprised. Matoma's 26. I thought Matoma was like maybe 21,
23.
22.
Yeah, Fox.
I
Yeah.
was surprised. Looked that up after, and I was like, okay. But, anyways,
Well, he only
um,
really went on onto our radar like last season. I would say
last year,
like
yeah, I found out like I started paying attention to who he was yeah last year,
um
especially after they sold Trossard to Arsenal. That's when I started really paying
Fox.
attention
But
to him.
he's the like taking how like Caicedo was like this season's like big star that Brighton sold. Matoma will be like that for next season. I think he'll garner a lot of attention for the next season.
If Brian can sell him for 100+ million, bro,
Oh, forget about it. Rich.
like that is
Okay.
City versus Newcastle. That
City
was very
versus
good.
Newcastle. I didn't really enjoy that game that much.
It was here's the thing. It was decent. There was a lot of fouls and like
Yeah.
hard, a lot of like yeah
Hmm.
thing like that. I will say this though. The only reason why this game what I liked about it is Kovacic to me looks very good. Like when he signed for City, 'cause I know a lot of Chelsea fans. It wasn't like with Havertz and Mount where they were like, "Oh, get out, like fuck off," basically, like, we don't want you.
Mm.
It was a thing of like, thank you, you did your thing, but like, yeah, we need to sell you. Like, you're not good enough anymore,
Yeah.
essentially. And then I remember I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, bro, like he's gonna go to Man City because the way they play is gonna suit his style of play,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
He goes to City, and even City fans are talking about like some guy. I mean, obviously it's a bit of an exaggeration, but some guy yesterday tweeted that, what's the name? That Kovacic plays as a mix of Bernardo Silva and Gundogan.
Hmm.
I was there, and I'm like, okay, maybe not to that degree,
Yeah.
but
But
but no,
very solid for them, man.
he looks good. He looks good. But
Very
for
good.
me, Man City still they look. I don't know, man. Like you can never rule them out since they've
Fox.
won. Well, they just recently won the treble and won the league
Hmm.
3 years in a row. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know if City are gonna win it this year. Like honestly,
I don't know, man, but you know, like I think one of the factors that is looking kind of terrifying as an opposing fan is like is their defense. Like Gvardiol is
yeah,
just like he's come in and he's been like put in
he
not
is.
like minutes and like just being really solid for them. And they like this is basically adding defense to a team that was already very strong defensively, right? So I'm just trying to think like okay, so they won 3-0 against Burnley, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
now this is 1-0
one
1-0
zero against
against Newcastle.
and Newcastle's a good team, so
They're
that's
good,
why
man,
like
bro. They scored five against Villa, right? Like, and I'm not saying Villa is like the example of defense, right? But five goals against Villa, and you go and then you against Man City and you score zero. So that's two clean sheets for Ederson right there, right?
Yeah,
Um,
but even against Burnley, though, the thing with City, I will say is that even against Burnley, like, yeah, they won 3-0, but I'm not going to say the scoreline flattered them.
mm,
They were not as good as what, like, say if you didn't watch the game, you just saw the score, you think Man City's probably dusted them. No, Man City were not as good as what, like, people think. Like,
yeah,
they
no,
weren't.
like Burnley wasn't as bad as people might think from a 3-0 loss. I would say for sure.
That's
Uh,
the thing. But yeah, move on to the big one of this week, and this one is I'll let you start off with it. So
are you talking about
Spurs.
United Spurs? Oh, okay, yeah. So this was we did a watch along yesterday, literally at 12:30. On YouTube to basically watch this game, and we were both kind of up in the air. Like we're not United or Spurs fans. We were just watching. I think both of us kind of wanted Spurs to win, just because like even though Brahim's an Arsenal fan, he doesn't really like Spurs at all. But like nobody likes United, right? So
Hey man, y'all need to understand for someone who's not like from London or England, the Spurs rivalry to me is like a team like I don't like, but like the rivalry for me is Chelsea and Man United because they
Mhm.
actually make noise, like they win stuff, like they're
Yeah,
actually
facts.
like in and abouts. You feel me?
Facts.
Like
And like when
Spurs,
they talk shit, it holds like value. Like when
yeah,
Spurs
it
talk
holds
shit, like
value.
no offense,
Spurs
but
is kind of like a little fly on the wall, so you kind of get
yeah,
out. Like it's an annoyance rather than like a bother.
100%,
Chelsea and United, they bother me, so I need them to lose.
100%.
Which they both lost this weekend. So
Well, they both lost. So, well, I think that we both said that United looked a little better in that first half, and we both agreed that like the game was like there was too many chances for the game to end in 0-0, which is like basically at the end of the half, it was still 0-0, and we both thought okay, but like somebody has to score, right? And then yeah, Tottenham like opens up the scoring off a bounce off of Licha.
it bounced off Martinez, then Sarr came in. This was like right beginning of the second half was like the 47th minute.
Hmm.
And then after that, bro, Man United just looked like off
Yeah,
the ropes. Like
I
I
just
don't
I
know.
just don't get why Bruno and Mount play at the same time.
Ten Hag. I mentioned this yesterday, and this is the thing I need to ask Man United fans now is that Ten Hag to me is getting to the point where like you have to start questioning him slightly because a lot of the decisions he's making, like for example, he's the one who really wanted to get Mason Mount. Like
Hmm.
no one forced Mason Mount on him. He really wanted Mason Mount, so that's his signing. He's playing Rashford as a number 10, not number 10, number 9, which everyone knows Rashford does not have the qualities of a striker at all.
No, he was
Like
better on the
Rashford's
left.
Rashford's two redeeming qualities are his pace, skill, and probably like maybe kind of finishing.
Mm.
But that's like it depends. Pace, skill, finishing. That's a winger. Like his hold up play sucks. Um, his footballing intelligence is not good. His like he can't really make runs. He can't like he gets bodied out like by any defender. Like that's the thing. Like
Hmm.
he can't play as a striker. And Ten Hag is playing him as a striker, and then putting two number 10s essentially as box to box midfielders. So
Exactly.
then Casemiro keeps getting overrun in
100%.
midfield.
He's lost.
Like bro, yesterday their midfield got destroyed. Like it
Yeah.
got destroyed. That's the thing. Like for now, like it's a like the Mount signing is dumb. I think that's a signing that keep in mind. Like I don't think he's gonna get sacked. Like obviously, but like Mount is a signing where say give it like a few months or even a year, and if it still goes like this way, 'cause I know it's still really early in the season, but if it keeps going this way, because since like I'd say Man United peaked last year. I'll tell you when. After they beat Barca in the Europa League, I think that's when they peaked under Ten Hag for the moment. After that, it's been kind of like meh. Like now their style of play is kind of like it's not that good. It's meh. I don't know.
I think yeah, because you just take in how like they spent 60 million on Mount, was it?
60 million on Mount. What was like 40, 50 million on Onana. They got Hoyland for 70 million. He hasn't even made a match day squad yet. Like he's gonna live and die by the Mount signing. Like like for me, Ole Solskjaer, he lived and died by the Maguire signing.
Hmm.
Ten Hag's gonna live or die by the Mason Mount signing. In my
Yeah.
opinion, that's what's gonna
Well,
happen.
because take in right, because right now like Man United are having a hard time signing Amrabat, and I think the reason they were quoting is because they had to like get rid of like another player, and they were talking about McTominay, I believe, or something. And I think the reason is because of the FFP rules or something.
Yeah, because they need to sell some players, but they don't want to leave McTominay. Even Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, and McTominay are all players that Man United want to sell, but they're refusing to leave.
Facts. Well, exactly. No, and that's the thing. And the issue is that now you have this Amrabat who wants to be at your club, who, to be honest, would be a very good addition to your club because he adds, like, he can play as another pivot, and you can't sign him, and he's been wanting to join you since June, right? And now you have a club like Liverpool, which I don't think we're going to sign him, right? But we went in on negotiations with him like earlier last week. So like this is the kind of thing where like this is all Man United's fault, right? Because you signed a brother like Mount, which to be honest, again, doesn't add much to your team when you could have really put that money towards on a guy like Amrabat, and then even like for 40 million, let's say, and then spent another 20 on something else, like I don't know, maybe another fullback or maybe
Yeah, like for me, Man
maybe
United.
a like a no, you have Palistri, I guess, and Sancho and Anthony. No, you
Yeah,
don't
but
need
he's still
yeah.
but Palestri's still young. That's the thing. For me right now, honestly, this is what I would say. Because like I told you, I predicted this shit. Man United to me are not making top four this year.
Hmm.
They can't because they still keep in mind this is just beginning of the season and they're already dropping points that they shouldn't because Spurs away. How do I say this? Like them losing isn't an issue. It's I think the manner they lost,
Fox.
and then they still have to because Man United's coming up. I know that their start of the season fixtures are kind of tough. That's all I know. Because who are they playing next? Let me check. They're playing. Yeah, look, they lost to Spurs. They're playing Forest. Then they got to play Arsenal away. Then Brighton. Then Burnley. Then Crystal Palace. Like their September is looking kind of tough because Brighton and Arsenal. Like I'm pretty sure. Okay, is Brighton away? Yeah, they're playing Brighton at home, but they lost to Brighton at home last year, so who knows? They're playing Arsenal away, which is very tough. They're gonna play Burnley away, which could be tough, and then Crystal Palace. Like those are all tricky games. Like those aren't easy games. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Well, like Man United right now, like with the what, like 10, what? There's like 11 days left in the transfer window.
Hmm.
They need to get Amrabat over the line. For me, that's their most important signing because they need someone to help Casemiro on the midfield. Because even Casemiro is looking like a fraud.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think he's being
I
placed in a
don't blame.
position to succeed.
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's the thing. But he's looking bad, and
Yeah.
that's due to Ten Hag. So for me, like Man United fans, like if I was a Man United fan, I wouldn't be Ten Hag out first, no, but I would start questioning it. I
Yeah,
would
no,
start.
of course, questioning his decisions in terms of lineup. Even
Yeah, because
Anthony should not be starting anymore, bro. It's like
yeah, Anthony.
he's not, he hasn't earned the start yet. Yeah, he hasn't earned a position in the starting lineup when you have players that could still prove themselves. Even like I'm saying, like I mentioned Pellistri earlier, like he did more in the like limited minutes he had than Anthony did in like the majority of the game, right?
This is what I would do if I was Ten Hag. Honestly, obviously this has to do with like okay, this would be my ideal front three if I'm what's his name Ten Hag. I would put Rashford, I'd put Martial striker, and I'd put Sancho. Now, the issue with that, there's two issues that come with that lineup right away. I'll tell you. Right now is it's first of all defensive work rate because Rashford and Sancho don't track back,
Yeah.
which is an issue. I guess to a point where like, listen, man, you need to trust like maybe trust more in like your midfielders and defenders to cover it because you can't keep playing someone whose only reliable ability is tracking back. Like that's Anthony's only ability, but he's a winger. Like his
Facts.
ability is meant to cross and score.
100%.
Rashford can score. Sancho could distribute the ball, can put in crosses, and can score from time to time. And Martial, when he's fit, that's the other issue. Is that Martial's never fit, but when he is fit, Martial is their best striker, at least until Hoyland comes back.
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
For
He's
me, I
he's
tried that
very
front
good.
three. I
Yeah.
tried that front row, and then see now if they get slapped up 5-0, then okay. But like honestly, at this point,
It has, you have to try something. Yeah, you have to try something new. Whatever your this whole Bruno Mount thing is not working right now. You need to change up your midfield at minimum.
I'd put McTominay. Put. I would say, they should do this. They should go back to a 4-2-3-1, which I think right now they're experimenting more with a 4-3-3. They should go back to a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Put Casemiro and McTominay as their DMs. Put Bruno as the 10. Put Rashford and Sancho on the wings, and Martial as striker. I think that's what they should do
Hundred
because it
percent.
adds defensive cover for the defense.
Yeah.
The midfield can cover a bit for the wingers, and yeah, then you
Facts.
can get the best out of your attackers because. Like they've scored one goal this season. I know it's only been 2 games, but their only goals come from Varane.
Yeah.
Who's a defender.
Defender,
They've now
defender.
looked
Yeah. Literally.
like from their attackers. Like it
Hundred
looks
percent.
just
100%.
I don't know.
No, it's obviously a little bit shaky for them. But like fair play to Spurs. I mean, they get their 3 points now. Spurs have 4 points and look like they're looking decent to be fair,
They
despite the
look
fact that they
good.
lost they lost Harry Kane, right? So I
Yeah, even
and
against that they drew, they look good.
and the thing is like it seems like the players are actually really vibing with their new coach. Because even I'm pretty sure I saw an interview with Son after, and he was just like really, he was talking about how comfortable he feels now under the new management and stuff. So like that's good for them, man. Honestly, like
Because this coach, how do I say it? This is the first time they've had a coach. Like, okay, since they had Posh, they've had, okay, Nuno Espirito Santo, who barely lasted and plus played a very shit brand of football. He got sacked. They had Mourinho, they had Santo, then they had Conte. All three of them play similar styles. Conte and Mourinho are known to be basically like they're not the type of coaches you bring into a rebuilding project like Spurs.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is with the coach right now, Ange, is that he's the type of coach where he hasn't had an experience at like a top like this is his biggest job to date,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're gonna give him time. He has a few young players, whatever. He has like the tools to build right now, where he can build like a pretty fun and competitive squad. Like I mentioned this on the stream yesterday. Spurs right now remind me of like in 2014-15 when they first appointed Poch.
Yeah.
Poch was kind of unknown. He was Southampton coach, came in with a style of play, had a young team around him. They were still moving on from when they had the Gareth Bale.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's similar situations now than they had like 8 years ago. Because 8 years ago, what was it? Like they had Gareth Bale, they sold him, whatever. He was their talisman. And now they had Kane. They sold him to Bayern, and he was their talisman. So now it's basically like a new era
Facts. Facts.
with young coaches, bright ideas. So no, Spurs this year. That's why I predicted them to make top four. I think they will.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's either them or Newcastle at this point. Like, I think that's really,
Yeah,
where,
maybe.
yeah, because like don't get me wrong, Newcastle lost to City, but like I mean, who's not gonna lose to City this season? You
Yeah,
know what
oh,
I'm saying?
yeah. Like that's not. And
It's,
plus, it's
it's
only one.
Yeah, it's only 1-0. So I mean, they're still looking decent to be fair. And yeah, but there's one thing that we should talk about because like a lot of obviously like United fans and even some of the players came out and talked about like how the that obvious penalty and like everything. Now I think initially when we were watching it live, we agreed that like we thought it was like a definite penalty. And we were a bit confused on the ruling based on like why that wasn't a penalty for the whole Romero touch in the box. Um,
Yeah, yeah. That to me, that was a penalty. Also, I will say that.
I think it's a penalty because he's lunging in, his arm is flailing, and you could say that it was like it was a natural position based on the fact that he was lunging to block, and
Yeah,
it wasn't that far from his body, but
look, based on today's rules and regulations, yeah, that is a penalty. But me personally, if I were to have it my way, I would not give that as a penalty. But also, Man United fans have no reason to complain. They should have had a penalty against them last week against Wolves.
yeah,
So like,
facts, yeah,
because
no,
even Bruno Fernandes came out and said, "Oh, everyone was so quick to talk about how Wolves should have a penalty against us. Well, where's everyone going to talk about like with us? We should have a penalty today." It's like, okay, cool, but like, why are you bitching? You just admitted it. Wolves should have had a penalty, so shut up.
yeah,
I'm telling you, man, they will never win a league title with this guy as their captain. Like Bruno is individually, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but as a captain, leader of your team, your talisman, Bruno will not lead you to shit, brother. I'm
I
sorry.
disagree. Nah, I think the Bruno is again one of those players that you like to have him on your team. He is a good leader, but like just hate playing against him. And so I think your position is coming from the fact that you just hate him. And like the thing is, I don't like him either, bro. To be honest, like he's
It's not that
annoying.
I hate him. No, it's not that I hate him. Like I
Mm,
do dislike. No. But like if I like, there's a lot of players I dislike. But like if they're good, I'll recognize it. You feel me? But like,
sure,
no, to me, no, he's not. To me, he can't be a captain of a Premier League winning team. Like I don't know. I just don't see it.
fair.
I don't know. Like he's too quick to start bitching and
Yeah, no,
crying.
he exactly, and he gets yellow cards for it too, eh? Like,
Exactly. And the thing is that trend. Like if he wasn't the captain, I'd be like, okay, whatever. If you're the captain, that transmits to the players because they're seeing their captain whining and being a pussy, basically,
mm,
and they're gonna think it's acceptable. No, your captain should lead by example. Like
lead
yeah,
by
he can go
example,
talk,
shut up and
whatever.
dribble kind of thing, literally.
Yeah, listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Move on.
Anyway,
But we'll move on to the next banter team real quick. Actually,
Everton. Or no, let's talk Everton Villa.
Everton Villa real quick. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so we're gonna talk about it because it's a very short roundup. It was 4-0 for Villa. Villa obviously coming from last season being a very much an attacking side, they really just penetrated the shit out of Everton. Pause. And the defense was just like just shambolic to be honest from Everton, and like Everton just doesn't look like a Premier League team. They look like like an EFL team, you know.
yeah, they look bad. They don't look good.
Yeah. And so what's it called? But having said that, I think that like I just made this like small note because I had noticed like the defense consistently lets Pickford down. Now Pickford, there was the third goal that went straight through Pickford's legs, and like okay, like fair play, that's shit on him. But like consistently the defense lets him down, and I think that Pickford deserves better than being at Everton. That's the one thing that I will say. Other than that, everybody else can kind of just chill at Everton. Like they're just I don't know. Like I don't know what David Moyes is doing. They're
David
just
Moyes.
not David Moyes.
Okay, and that's Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche. Yeah, I don't know what Sean Dyche is doing, but David Moyes is West Ham.
This West Ham, yes.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Sean Dyche is doing, but like what either they need to get rid of his ass or like I mean even I guess the owners didn't really help. Like who did Everton buy over the transfer window? You know.
Well, No one. I mean, I know that they got. I think they got Andros Townsend. I think that's who they got. I don't know who. Honestly, I don't know. I don't keep up with Everton that much. I can't. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway,
So,
4-0, 4-0 Villa like spanks their booty cheeks. But moving on to the second game of banterish proportions, we have Chelsea versus West Ham. Now, this is the very anticipated debut of Caicedo, the very anticipated debut of Lavia, who didn't actually end up debuting. And all that, and it ends 3-1 in favor of West Ham. Let's talk through the game, Brahim. I'm sure you watched it, right?
bro, it was. Okay, like I'll give credit. Okay, I'll say this about Chelsea. Like I'll give them credit for this. They looked way like they were the better team. Like they looked way better than like they were way better than West Ham. I'll give them that. Yes, Sterling looked very good. That's one thing I noticed. But like it's funny, man. Like all that money spent and they can't finish anything. Like dudes are wanking off about Nick Jackson and shit, bro. They can't finish.
Yeah.
They don't all that. Get a world class striker, bro. Like they spent nearly $1 billion, bro. I don't give a shit. Send 200 million Spurs away and go get Harry Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I know he went to Bayern, but like before that, like bro, you need like how, man? Like Chelsea.
I don't. But the thing is, I don't think Harry Kane would want to go to Chelsea, bro.
I don't know, but
Because
bro,
he's a Spurs like.
cool. Go get fucking bro Mbappe.
But
They have money, bro. Like all that money you spent, go get someone.
Mbappe, go get Osimhen, go get like there's a lot of players that like they could have went after, and I think players that would have wanted to come. And the thing is, like, what's crazy is that like you hear about all this money that Chelsea spends, and then today it was just funny because you look at their starting 11, and obviously the starting 11 today didn't include the likes of Caicedo, didn't include the likes of Lavia, right? But then but despite that, you look at their starting 11, and like you question like, bro, like where did the money go, kind of thing, you know? It's weird.
No, they spend money very weirdly because the thing is, like okay, case in point, these are two two things I noticed like after the games. I thought to myself, you know, I pondered.
Mm-hmm.
I was there and I was thinking, first of all, Mudryk is the worst player. I think he's worse than Anthony. At least Anthony provides you with something.
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's very small, he gives you something.
Tough.
Mudryk is so fucking ass. He's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I'm pretty sure Mudryk costs more than Anthony. That's the worst part. Mudryk is terrible, right?
I don't think no, I don't think he was more actually. I think Mudryk was 80 million, no?
But I don't. Whatever it was, expensive.
Yeah.
Mudryk is terrible. Okay. Now that's a signing that I'm convinced they just did to get one over Arsenal, which I'm glad they did because we spent literally 25 million and got Trossard, who's way better.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the signing of Lavia. That signing makes no sense because, bro, I hope Lavia suffers at Chelsea.
No, I don't want him to suffer. I just think that they sold him a bit of a dream, and he's just not really gonna play.
But he's dumb, bro. Their midfield pivot because Lavia, Enzo, and Caicedo cannot play in a midfield three. They're all because Caicedo and Lavia are similar.
Very similar, yeah.
I think because where's the creativity gonna come from? Like I know Enzo has a good range of passing, but he plays too deep. Now I know Caicedo is gonna play deeper than both of them, but like that midfield three doesn't work.
It
right?
doesn't make sense.
So one of them is gonna have to be sacrificed to the bench, and that's Lavia. He goes to Liverpool, and he's the starting DM for. First of all, okay, no offense, Chelsea fans. Liverpool's a bigger club, and plus, in my opinion, they're what's his name? They're a more stable team because Chelsea right now, and like I will say this. They're showing me glimpses of the fact that they are going to be a good team. Like, I wouldn't worry a lot if I was a Chelsea fan, just because, like, it normally happens like this when it comes to, like, really big rebuilds with teams like Chelsea.
It takes time, bro.
It does take time, and results like these will happen. Like, that's, like, I wouldn't worry if I was a Chelsea fan. But at the same time, it's like you need to question some of the signings they're making because it's cool to splash money, but, like,
yeah. I think literally, you know how you talk about the Mudryk one being kind of like trying to get one over Arsenal. I think the Lavia one was just trying to like for Todd Bowley to like flex his muscles over Liverpool, be like, oh, not only are we gonna take Caicedo, which you tried to take from us, but we're also gonna take this other guy who we know you wanted. And it was just, and I don't get, and then you had like Lavia come out. This is why I actually like from this point on I don't give a shit what happens because he kind of like chose it himself. Because he was going out, he felt like talking about how he felt like a second option, bro. Enjoy being a second option, brother. Enjoy being a second option at Chelsea. You're not going to be starting a lot of games, especially not in your first year, and it's just going to be like not a very fun year for you.
That's a dumb sign because bro, I don't know if Chelsea have a director of football, but if they do, he's a shit director of football. Because but you need a good director of football because keep in mind the coach may want a certain type of player, whatever. But director of football, it's his job to scout him to see if he
Scout.
actually fits the system. Because
Yeah.
think of it like this, right? So fun fact: did you know that Klopp he didn't want Salah at first? You know who he wanted instead of Salah?
Who?
He wanted Draxler,
Oof.
right? So Klopp wanted that signing. But who's the one who Michael Edwards, who was the director of football at Liverpool at the time, came out and said, "No, I got you something better." Salah, and then look, and right now Liverpool don't have a director of football. I'm pretty sure because look at the signings they're making recently as well with Liverpool. Like for example, was a dumb signing. Like for the price they paid, is a dumb signing. A lot of the signings they've made have been stupid. They've neglected their midfield for too long, and now you guys
Yeah.
are suffering.
100%.
Because Klopp,
I think Nunez was a dumb signing. Like in retrospect, when you realize that then they went and got Gakpo.
Gakpo, exactly. Like it makes no sense. And also, like, because even last year, like even no, not even even 2 years ago, when you guys even like made the Champions League final stuff, when you guys almost won the quadruple and shit, your midfield like it's needed replacing then. But Klopp basically squeezed everything he could out of them that season, and then that's why last year they were so bad because bro, like you guys have needed a midfield rebuild, probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I'd say, right? You guys have needed that. So Klopp, as good of a coach and manager as he is, just because of that doesn't mean that he's good at scouting talent. Like I
Hmm.
told you, so you need like the system needs to be. You need a director of football and you need the coach. The coach should not not have saying and like signs. Like obviously, he needs to have a saying and an opinion, but the coach should not be the one taking care of transfers. Blah blah blah. Because that's what Tuchel did at Chelsea. And that's one of the reasons why he got sacked. Tuchel, for a while, was the one who had to take care of signings, had to take care of like contract negotiations, blah 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 blah. It's like, bro, you can't put all of that on a manager.
Yeah. No, you
Coach
make a
needs to.
very good point, man. You make a very good point, honestly. And I think that's what's happening. Like you said, it's exactly what's happening at Chelsea. They're just like splashing money without any sort of like real direction. Because thinking like if you're just with PSG, right? Right. When when they made all their like really like big blockbuster signings and everything, you're like, okay, cool, wow, like these guys, like if they don't win the Champions League, then that's fucked, right? But the issue is that there was no like thought process behind like the recruitment of that team. Not, you know what I mean? It was just like, where can we splash money? Who looks good? So on and so forth. And all those brothers look good. Messi looked good. Neymar looked good. Mbappe looked good. But I mean, like together, especially with the midfield and like everything, together they weren't like a very cohesive unit. And I think that like the same thing's happening with Chelsea, where like they just keep getting these brothers that on paper are very good. Caicedo is a very good player, despite what happened today. Lavia is a good player. Enzo's a very good player, but they don't think about like what it would look like in a as a cohesive unit, right? Which is why when I made my TikTok a couple of days ago and people were like getting at me talking about like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about how I don't think Chelsea's going to win the league this year, it's simply because of that. It's because I'm not doubting the like the merits of the players. I think the players are very good, the players that they got, but I'm saying that like if it's gonna work, it's gonna take time because these guys are gonna have to get used to each other. They're gonna have to play together first, and like all this stuff. So I don't know. Chelsea's looking like a team that will probably hit their stride if not next year, then the year after. I would say.
Yeah, Chelsea, I'd say give them probably 3 years. I say Chelsea give them 3 years, like
Hmm.
2 to 3. Like I'd say that. I don't know, but at this point, I mean, bro, keep in mind if Chelsea and Man United stay bad forever, don't think I'm gonna be complaining. Man United are gonna be bad as long as they don't sell. Their owners don't sell. Man United are always gonna be banter. Chelsea, I mean, I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
have to see.
no, the Glazers are definitely an interesting group of people because I think
So
I think at one point the Qataris offered 7 billion for the club, and for whatever reason they're just sitting on it. So it is what it is. They can do what they want now. But listen, this Chelsea L to West Ham. First of all, let's just give credit to West Ham. I mean, they did their thing. Paqueta was kind of like getting all up in Caicedo's face and like just like really being a
get
prick.
He
Um,
also got an insanely hilarious yellow card, which like I mean, the whole betting scandal with
yeah,
getting yellow, and he got a yellow card that to me was like it's obvious, man. Like I don't know, but he ended up scoring the penalty at the end, make it
yeah,
3-1. Antonio scored a really wicked goal.
yeah,
Antonio goals.
100%. Yeah. And that was so see with the Paqueta penalty, which is what I want to mention. We were talking earlier about the Salah penalty, right? Paqueta is like basically like the way that he approaches the ball, and like a lot of successful penalty takers, because approach the ball like this is he starts off with a very quick couple jumps, slows it down, and then he tries to like basically trick the goalie with his eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than forcefully trying to like hit it top corner or whatever, right? I think that that's a very good strategy for penalty takers because like most of the time it works. Most of the time the goalie really just it has to it's a guessing game at that point, right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, it does. Yeah, he did well. Like I'll
he
give
did
him
well,
his.
and Enzo missed his penalty, which was hilarious
Yeah,
because
that
so it was
yeah,
it was in the hands of Chelsea to be honest because Enzo's penalty was when it was 1-1, correct? I'm pretty sure.
yeah. It was 1-1, man. Their $220 million midfield today. One missed the penalty and one gave it
Conceded
away.
one. Fox. That was oh my god, you don't understand. I was crying. I was laughing my ass off because I'm like, bro, these are all the tweets I'm about to tweet right now. They're
That
gonna
was
hit so hard and like
awesome,
it's
by the way. Yeah.
yeah. Follow the Twitter. Follow. Oh, also, we made a TikTok. Clown Chelsea. Listen, it's a favorite pastime in England and in Canada apparently. So that's
Uh,
awesome. Now that's the Premier League. Chelsea lose to West Ham. They only have 1 point. That means the one that they got from Liverpool last week. Let's talk a little bit about your boys at Barcelona. They literally just played. Uh,
bro, I literally hopped on this call like 10 seconds after the game finished.
100%. No, exactly. And I didn't even know. I didn't even realize Barca was playing until I was like on Twitter, and people were like, "Bro, can Barca please like score?" And I'm like,
It's
"What?"
because look, this is the issue. Oh my God, Barcelona. Okay, okay, I'll give a recap of the game real quick,
Yeah.
basically, because I'm assuming did you watch it or no?
No.
Okay. Recap of the game is this. Barca are playing Cadiz, which is like a team. They're always like in and out of like relegation battles. Well, like they're one of those lower half Spanish teams. Obviously they play Barca, park the bus, yada yada yada, right? So the game, well, this is the second half. Barca did play well. The first half it was really just this. Barca, first of all, the lineup they had me fucking like bamboozled because Xavi would something. Well, I mean, Xavi was suspended for this game because he got a red card in our first game. So was his the assistant who was taking over. But obviously, the lineup's probably chosen by Xavi. Has done this thing for the last like year now, which I don't get. Is that he keeps trying to play a 3-4-3 formation, like a 3-4. Like it does kind of switch overall. Like it does switch throughout the game and shit. But essentially, what the formation is that you have in today's case, you had Kunde, Christensen, and De Jong as your three center backs. You had Romeu, Gundogan as your like pivots in midfield, which is like Gundogan's not a pivot. Balde as a like wing back, which that's cool because Balde is a very attacking left back. So him as a wing back is like that's fine. Okay, cool. You had Lamine Yamal, who's I'll get onto him after, fucking insane. But he's playing as like a wing back essentially as well. Then you have Gavi and Pedri as the two advanced midfielders, and you have Lewandowski. So we're playing with essentially four midfielders, one winger, and a left back who's playing as a left wing back. Like the formation makes no sense. So every time the attacks happen, it's like he keeps trying to do this thing where he tries to like control the midfield, but then that costs the attack. Because when he first came in, we were playing 4-3-3, and when he first came in, we scored goals for fun. We went on like an 11 game streak where I think out of like 7 out of those 11 games, we scored 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was playing 4-3-3. Now he's trying to switch it up. He's trying to be like a fucking Pep or something. I don't know what
Yeah.
he's doing, but like the formations he's playing, the tactics he's playing, I don't get. We do that. First half, basically, our tactic was just to give it to Yamal, and inshallah, he's 16 as well, right? And he did very good. We almost scored like 1 goal, but it was 0-0. Then the second half comes in. We got a lot more chances. We got like a few shots hit off the line. Gavi hit the crossbar, blah, blah, blah. The breakthrough comes in the like 80th minute. Gundogan gives a very good pass to Pedri. Pedri finishes it 1-0. And then like the 90th minute, Ferran Torres gets played one-on-one by Lewandowski, goes through, scores, whatever. But like, yeah, overall
Mm-hmm.
the game it was all right. But man, like they need to switch something. Me for now, the thing I would switch is I would heavily consider dropping Lewandowski.
For
For
who?
me, he slows the attack down too much.
Who would you put
Like
in?
Ferran Torres, he had a
As
very good
as a
preseason.
9, or are you,
Yeah,
like, but until Roque comes in, huh?
yeah, as a 9 because Ferran Torres had a very good preseason. At Man City, he was like he's basically like he was the Julian Alvarez before
Mm-hmm.
Julian Alvarez came. He was like a number 9 slash winger who was more comfortable as a 9. And when he first came to Barca, he did play a bit of 9. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
good. Like he's good as a 9, right? Because he's more mobile. He has more like dribbling. He has more like about him right now than Lewandowski. So for me, I put him as a nine. Um, right now the issue is that based on today's performance, because Yamal man is listen for me. He's the most excited. He's the best Barca player I've watched. Like I've been most excited about since when Neymar came to Barca, like Neymar's debut season.
Mm.
Because obviously people are gonna point to Messi because a lot of people have said he's the most exciting Barca talent I've seen since Messi. Which I was too young to see Messi's debut. I was like 3 years old, so okay, I'm not gonna tell you I saw that shit. But I saw Neymar's debut and I saw his rise 100%. For me, he's the most excited I've been for a winger since Neymar.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that he's
Well,
insane.
you guys are gonna lose him for a little while when he goes to the under 21. What's it called? Or is it under 20? No, under 19.
Oh, he
Uh,
might not. He might not go. He might stay.
yeah.
But the issue is that since he's 16, I don't know if I want to put that much like pressure on a 16-year-old. You know that's the
Fast.
issue. So I don't know because I the same stuff I'm telling you now. Okay, I wasn't this hype about Ansu Fati, even though I was very hype about him. Ansu Fati, I was insanely hyped for as well. Not to this degree, but I was. And then injuries and shit. So that's the
Hmm.
issue. So I hope it's not the same.
You're kind of just taking a bit of a like step back.
Look, I hope it's not the same thing that happens, but we'll have to see. But yeah, that's like a recap. Barca right now are on 4 points. Madrid are leading. They have 2 wins out of two. Um, overall, listen, it's still early in the season, so it's not that big of an issue. I'm just happy we ended up winning the game because for a while I thought we were gonna draw 0-0 again. Because like I said, we scored both our goals in the last 10 minutes of the game. So,
Fox. But
but no,
anyways, let's talk about. So you guys have now still some chance to sign some players. Cancelo is the big
he's the one that we need.
like
Cancelo.
yeah.
We need him so badly.
Hmm.
I've never wanted a player as much as I wanted Cancelo, like in the last few years. We need him, brother.
Yeah. Do you think
Because
Cancelo fucks up your
what's up?
like the locker room kind of vibe, like the because he's
Listen, I don't know. At this point, I'll tell you this:
mm,
if he does, it's a risk I'm willing to take because we need a right back, and he's the best right back we could get. We need him because you get him, and instantly we can go back. Like I feel like a lot of what Xavi's doing right now
mm,
is as a consequence of the fact we don't have a right back.
yeah,
Because when we were playing 4-3-3 at the beginning when he was there, when we were scoring a lot of these goals, blah blah. Keep in mind, Danny Alves, he was old as shit, but Danny Alves was our right back. He was playing and he was doing good, right? We need a right back because you get a right back and instantly he provides width and help to whoever's the right winger, which is going to be Rafinha in most cases. Because Rafinha, like, I'm not too convinced by him, but it doesn't help the fact that he doesn't have a right back who pushes up with him, so he
hmm,
keeps getting double teamed. You get him instantly, your right side looks better. You can play a 4-3-3 because you have a traditional right back, left back, your two center backs. That way, Araujo and Kunde don't have to always play out of position, right? You get them. Our midfield can be De Jong, Pedri, Gundogan, and then Romeo, Gavi, whatever. Or it can be even Romeo, Gundogan. I don't know. Like, you figure something out, and then your attack will be either Lewandowski, Ferran Torres. You put your left winger can be Ansu Fati or even Ferran Torres. You can put him there, and then you put Rafinha, Yamal, whatever like that. Then the team looks good
Fox, hundred
because
percent,
there's balance.
yeah,
We haven't had balance in our team for the last year, and that's why I think our performances haven't been that good because we haven't had a right back.
yeah, no, 100%. And I think that signing is definitely imminent. That's the signing that like even Xavi wants to make. So hopefully you guys get that done this week. Let's talk about obviously just real quick Madrid because we were literally watching. I think I want to say the United game. Yeah, we were literally watching the United game yesterday, and then you told me that like Madrid's down 1-0 against Almeria, and I was like, okay, a little bit weird, but like
Yeah,
pretty much 15. Yeah, about 15 minutes later, then you have Jude scoring,
yeah,
uh, and then you have Jude scoring again, right? And then you had Vinny scoring. They end up beating Almeria 3-1. And this is the obviously the highlight here is obviously Jude Bellingham because he was the kind of guy who really like Madrid fans were excited for him, but like a lot of people were spectacle. I want like because they were
yeah,
like, okay, he was playing at Dortmund and he already like had signs of like some wear and tear on his like knees and stuff. He was
mm,
playing a lot of minutes there, and you were also worried about like, are we just paying like this English tax? Is he even just that good, or just English fans hyping him up? What is your initial thoughts after watching him play essentially preseason / 2 games with Real Madrid?
Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday. He looks good. I think he looks good. Granted, the one goal he scored, I think it was his first or maybe the goal after. First of all, he was offside and he handled the ball. But of course, they don't call that shit on Madrid, but they called that shit on Barca when it wasn't a handball last week. Anyways, fuck La Liga. Yeah, no, he looks good. He looks good. Honestly, like I told you yesterday, I was skeptical just because like the example we had before him was Jadon Sancho, where he was good at Dortmund, went to Man United, and hasn't been great.
Mm.
Oh yeah, but no, Bellingham's doing his thing. Well, that's 3 goals now in 2 games. And plus, he's a midfielder. He scored. Keep in mind in the first game, and then
Are
yeah,
they playing him as like a 10 right now? Or
yeah, they're
yeah,
playing him as an advanced midfielder because they're not playing three
9.
attackers
Yeah.
anymore. They're playing Kenny and Rodrigo as like two like wingers slash like they're playing as basically wide forwards. Like I wouldn't say the strikers, they're wide forwards.
Fox.
That's what they're playing, and then Bellingham's like dropping in behind them, and then behind Bellingham you have like yesterday's match in particular, you had Camavinga, Chouamini, and Cruz that were
Yeah.
playing behind.
100%.
So like, yeah, if they persist with that, keep in mind
Oh,
Madrid
Camavinga
started.
didn't start for them, huh? It was
Who
Valverde.
was it? Valverde. Okay.
And then Camavinga comes on later.
Madrid's starting 11 is very good, but the second they get an injury, especially in their attack, they're fucked. Because if one of Vinicius or Rodrigo gets injured, then you only have Hazalu and Brahim Diaz,
Yeah.
which like is really not like
Like not like insane, sensational.
it's not really that good. Like that's the thing. So if
Uh,
I'm Madrid, I'm like, okay, the starting 11, yes, very good, but I'd be worried if we have like if they get injuries. That's what I would say.
100%. No, I think I agree with you what you're saying. Now, given obviously 2 games, it's not a lot, but does it change anything that you would say about your predictions for who's gonna win La Liga?
Oh no, no, bro. I think Barca are still winning this.
Barca's
I
still
think.
winning.
Yeah, look, watch. By the time our next match starts, by the time our next match comes in, sorry, which is when would Barca's next match be? It would be next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. against Villarreal. Ooh, that's a tough game, and it's away from home. By the time our next match starts, we might have gotten Cancelo, and I'm telling you, like I promise you, like you can clip this if you want. The second Barca get Cancelo, the whole team is gonna get unlocked. Like the
Hmm.
whole team will get unlocked.
Yeah,
That's all.
Facts.
The
Facts.
whole team gets.
That's a good point, my friend. All right, let's talk about real quick before we move on to MLS related stuff. Let's talk real quick about Lukaku because Lukaku has been kind of like a little bit talked about today and the last couple of days. So it looks like Juventus's interest in the brother has calmed down a little bit, and there have been a couple of teams coming out in the Premier League that have been interested. We have West Ham,
Mm,
which I didn't really get,
that would be hilarious if he went there.
and then you had, and then recently Spurs coming through for some interest. What do you think?
Mm, if I'm him, hmm, I mean, damn. Here's the thing, right? From a stylistic point of view,
Mm,
go West Ham because the way Spurs are playing, if they're trying to do like this, like fast paced, like possession based, like yada yada yada, like that they're trying to do. Lukaku's not a striker for a
100,
team like that.
yeah,
But then again, West Ham is you could say like a lower like it'd be like a more of a downgrade you'd say because okay
facts,
him going from him either way him going to Spurs would be like somewhat of a downgrade as well, but him going to West Ham would be a worse downgrade. So
facts.
I think stylistically West Ham makes more sense, but maybe like from an ego point of view, he'd probably want Spurs.
Yeah, fair.
So,
That's fair, bro.
I don't know, honestly, but then MLS real quick, Messi of course doing what he does.
Yeah, so it was really funny because before the game I was seeing it's like some TikToks about like Americans answering the question of who's better, Messi or Hani Mukhtar,
Hmm.
and I'm like I was like, bro, what are these where are these comparisons even coming from? Okay, B, whoever said Mukhtar was better, and they would justify it by saying, oh, like, oh, you mean now, like right now, like today, yeah, like Mukhtar for sure. It's like, bro, like this is why Americans don't deserve Messi, A. But B, uh, like I don't even think the brother. I mean, like maybe I guess I haven't seen him play that much, but I don't even think the brother is that special. You know, like I mean, like you're talking about Messi, who scored an absolute like worldy of a goal, like which he's been doing for Inter Miami over the last couple games, and so he scores. Then Nashville comes in the second half, and they really honestly dominate Inter Miami in that second half. Do you watch the whole game, by the way?
Did not know.
Okay. So we had a bit of a watch party. I don't know. It's very
Wow,
exclusive.
that's good.
And what's it called? And so Messi scores his banger of a goal in the first half. Then Nashville kind of dominates Inter Miami in the second half. Inter Miami's goalie basically like saves their ass on a number of occasions. And then you had, but then Nashville scores. They go into pens, and then it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until they get to the goalies. And then Inter Miami's goalie, Calendar, he basically he scores his, and then Nashville's goalie misses, or it gets saved, right? So that's how it ends. Messi is the League Cup winner for Inter Miami. That I don't even really know like what kind of like trophy case or history in terms of trophies Inter Miami has because I don't really care to be
That's
honest.
their first one. That's their first ever trophy.
Say word.
Well, keep in mind they've only been around for like 3 years.
Oh yeah,
So
that's facts. Facts. No, they're pretty.
yeah,
That's
no,
true.
this is their first. I saw someone tweet this, and it's kind of funny. Three Barcelona legends came together to bring home a trophy for a team that's owned by a Real Madrid legend, and then people, well, Beckham. Now, okay, well, Beckham isn't a Real Madrid
No, he's a
legend.
Manchester United legend.
Most Madrid fans will agree that yeah, he was a good player for them, but he wasn't a legend.
Mm.
Like most of Madrid fans would tell you that. But yeah, no, so it's kind of funny, all tongue in cheek,
It is funny.
banter.
It is funny, and yeah, like I mean, he and the one thing that I will say before we kind of wrap up this podcast slash live stream is Messi seems like he's like having a lot of fun and seems like he's really
Oh yeah,
happy.
he looks awesome. Yeah, he looks awesome.
And it's just something that wasn't there for PSG, and I think, man, yeah, PSG is a different thing.
Fuck
They drew again yesterday.
yeah, Dembele, trash ass. This guy right in front of the net, and then he slipped, talking about, oh, I need to put the screws in my boots. Trash. I can't wait till he gets injured, and then Mbappe leaves PSG.
You know Neymar's injured.
He is.
Yeah, no, they were talking about how like oh he's not gonna be able to practice for a little bit because he picked up an injury. Um,
Laugh at
that
something.
brother going there to ride in private jets and go on yachts, bro.
Yeah, I'm not.
It is what it is, though, bro.
Anyways,
It is what it is, yo. But shout outs to everybody that's tuned into the stream. We really appreciate it. This has been our Basement Baller live. I'm gonna take a break for a little while. I don't know if I'm gonna come back later on tonight, maybe because I'm not really doing that much, but like depends on how I'm feeling. But later on, play some more God of War and stuff like that. But there's one thing that I did want to ask you. Are you gonna be getting EA FC 24?
yes, indeed.
Well, your sister pre-ordered it for you, or are you gonna?
Well, I don't know. Well, she was going to. She hasn't yet, but like she's going to. I guess. I
Fox,
don't know.
because once that drops, which I'm pretty sure that's September 29th,
Hmm.
once that drops, bro, I mean, it could be on site in terms of streams, you know?
Yeah, it'll be on site, man. Don't worry.
We might have to run some viewer games. We might have to run some me and Brahim 1v1s,
Mm.
which,
I don't think you don't you don't want to do that.
why not?
I'll smoke you.
Bro, you don't even never even played the game, bro. You don't even know what I know about EAFC
Same
24.
controls and consoles.
Nah, it's
No,
not. The other one was FIFA. This one's EAFC, different.
whatever,
Shut
man.
your trash ass
Anyways,
up. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll see you guys on the next stream. And yeah, peace out. Chi 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 chi. Peep.